Breaking now. This is your update 2 on Hurricane Florence. The information on Hurricane Florence as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. The location of the storm is 27.5 degrees north, 67.1 degrees west. The winds are at 140 miles an hour and a minimum pressure of 945 millibars, slightly weaker than yesterday, mostly because of an eye wall replacement cycle. The movement of the storm is at west-northwest at 17 miles an hour. The next name on the list is Joyce. Here's the track of the storm. It's going to barrel right into North Carolina. And as I said yesterday, there would be hurricane watches and warnings. Hurricane warnings, watches, tropical storm watches are active. I'll get to those in a minute. But the wind field of Florence is very large, and it's going to increase as the storm progresses towards the Carolinas. It's still a bit uncertain where this storm is going to make landfall, or if it even makes landfall. Some models have it just stall off the coast and move away. Good news. But most models have it impacting the Carolinas, making landfall as a strong Category 3, weak Category 4. That's still pretty bad. 125, 130, 135 miles an hour. That's pretty strong where the landfall happens, and it's going to dump a ton of rain in this area. Some spots up to 3 feet of rain. That even rivals Hurricane Lane's rainfall, with the top amount over 4 feet in Hawaii, but not even close to Hurricane Harvey, which had 5 feet of rain. Anyways, here's the hurricane alerts. Hurricane warnings are for South Santee River, South Carolina to Duck, North Carolina, including Albemarle and Pamlico Sounds. Hurricane watches are for Edisto Beach, South Carolina to South Santee River, South Carolina, and north of Duck, North Carolina to the North Carolina-Virginia border. Tropical storm watches are for north of the North Carolina-Virginia border to Cape Charles Light, Virginia, and Chesapeake Bay south of New Point Comfort. Storm surge watches are for the South Santee River, South Carolina, to Duck, North Carolina, and Albemarle and Pamlico Sounds, including the Neuse and Pamlico Rivers. Storm surge watches are for Edisto Beach, South Carolina, to South Santee River, South Carolina, and north of Duck, North Carolina, to the North Carolina-Virginia border. Sea surface temperatures all the way to landfall are very, very warm, around 28 degrees Celsius, which can be 86 degrees Fahrenheit, even up into the lower 90s. It's very warm, and it's going to enhance further development of Florence all the way to landfall. Wind shear, however, is increasing ahead of the storm. That is good news for the Carolinas. This may weaken the storm slightly, but then there is a pocket of low wind shear ahead of the storm around landfall, which might make the storm intensify. Personally, the wind shear, in my opinion, will not really influence the storm a ton, like it did as after it achieved its first peak as a 130 mile an hour storm. It weakened back to a tropical storm. This will not weaken. This will actually strengthen over that wind shear, mostly because of the sea surface temperatures where it is. But Florence, I do not think will become a Category 5. I'd say 155, which is what they are predicting, actually. Anyways, we got Tropical Storm Isaac and Hurricane Helene, which are coming off of Africa. Isaac may pose a threat to the Leeward Islands. Helene may be a threat to the Azores this weekend. Satellite imagery, and just wow, what a crazy looking storm. Well-defined eye. It's much larger than it was yesterday, mostly because of an eye wall replacement cycle overnight. It did weaken to a low-end Category 4, but it's strengthening again, and it's going to get even stronger than it did. It's going to reach a tertiary peak and its highest peak. And so it's going to continue moving west-northwest at a quick pace, then it's going to slow down and meander around the Carolinas somewhere. And rain will be felt in the mid-Atlantic and northeast as the storm progresses into next week. But this storm will make landfall on Friday, early Friday morning, and this storm is just something you do not want to mess with. So evacuate if you can. If there are mandatory evacuations, you gotta listen to them. Evacuate. If there's a suggested, or I think regulated evacuations or something like that. If you can evacuate, then go ahead, evacuate. But I do not think you should personally be in this storm of a magnitude like this. Here are the tropical cyclone names of the northern hemisphere except the North Indian Ocean. We've gone from Alberto to Isaac. Next 3 names on the list are Joyce, Kirk, and Leslie. Eastern Pacific. Next 3 names are Rosa, Sergio, and Tara. Next 3 names in the West Pacific are Trami, Congre, and Yutu. And in the Philippine Basin, Payang, Queenie, and Rosita. If you need more details, you should visit the NOAA website or download the free app at the link below. There will be another update on Hurricane Florence tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, September 12th, 2018. Thank you for watching this video, and definitely prepare for this storm.